I kissed my girlfriend goodnight before leaving her apartment. I pulled up to the stoplight at the end of the street. The streets were empty. I felt a weird vibe that night, as if someone was watching me. I looked to my left. A man was watching me from inside of his car. I mean, he was full on staring at me. The man's stare creeped me out so much that I was frozen in my seat for a few seconds. I broke out of the trance and floored it. There was a nearby gas station on my right. I pulled into the gas station and quickly hopped out. I walked into the station to try and lose the guy. The man drove by the gas station, slowly looking inside. I waited inside of the station for about 30 minutes. I bought a few light snacks and left. The man was nowhere in sight. Hopefully, he had already left and wasn't waiting around somewhere. I drove home and jumped in bed. Figured I'd take a shower in the morning. I couldn't have been asleep for more than 5 minutes before I heard a noise. It sounded like someone was walking around in my living room. I picked up the baseball bat from underneath my bed. The footsteps got closer to my room. I waited in the dark near my room door, grasping my bat firmly, ready to use it. The person walked into my room in a slow manner. It was the man from earlier. He stopped and stood still. Was he aware of my presence? Did he hear me get up and grab my bat? How did he get inside? The man quickly turned around and looked at me with a serious or possibly angry look on his face. I quickly swung the bat in the man's direction. The bat connected with the man's face, making a sickening, cracking sound. The man's jaw was broken. I continued swinging my bat out of fear and adrenaline, even after the man fell. The man was covered in blood, and so was my floor. The cops showed up at my apartment about 10 minutes later. One of the neighbors saw the man picking the lock to my apartment and decided to call the police. The police told me that the man was on the neighborhood watch for the past year or so. They've been looking for him after several people reported similar stories. The man's name was Jeffrey Morgan. He was incarcerated in 1992 and served 20 years after he was found guilty for child abduction and molestation. It's strange to say, but I vaguely remember my parents telling me about a man that tried to abduct me from school when I was a kid. The man's name sounds very familiar, as if I've heard it before. Could this be the same man that tried to abduct me all those years ago?